Aha. Huh.
Gentlemen, have you seen Miss Babanian? She wanted to speak with me after the bishop was finished chewing my ear off, but it seems the pair of them have disappeared.
I'm afraid not.
Can't have been that important then.
What do you need? What can I do for you? Merci.
What can I do for you?
Merci, madame.
Oh. Huh. Ah. Oh.
What do you need? What can... Merci.
What can I do for you?
Merci, mademoiselle.
What can I do for you?
Merci, madame. What do you need? What? Merci.
I hope you're getting something out of...
Merci.
If you want to deal with him, fine.
I suppose I can...
I will not...
Huh.
What do you need? What can... Merci.
You're just full of questions, aren't you? Where did you get that?
It was found in a vent at the museum. Perhaps the very last thing I expected to find.
Yes. Well, thank you. I knew I had lost it somewhere.
A clearly valuable ring has just been returned to Madame, and she acts as though it means nothing to her.
And I would not describe throwing a ring at one's husband resulting in it being stuck in a vent as a case of losing it.
It is clear Madame Hélène felt no sickness at the gala, rather anger. In a moment of rage, she threw her ring at her husband before exiting the museum. And having seen the damage that she has caused in her own dressing room, one can conclude that it was the state of her marriage that allowed her emotions to get the better of her and act so rashly.
You have been most helpful.
The detective inspector will now be able to see as plain as day that Mademoiselle Court Smythe is the guilty party. Now to find him.
With the other remaining guests' movements all accounted for, she was the only one capable of making haste with the painting.
You're just full of questions.
You have been... What do you need? What? Merci.
Oh.
You're just full of
You have been...
What do you need? What?
Merci.
What can I do for you?
Merci.
I hope you're
Merci.
Gentlemen, have you seen Miss Babanian? She wanted to speak with me after the bishop was finished chewing my ear off, but it seems the pair of them have disappeared.
I'm afraid not.
Can't have been that important then. What can I do?
Merci.
Ah, Detective, you're here.
Look and you shall find. How may I be of assistance?
Oh, well, I've had the photographs from the Gala developed.
That's good thinking, Miss Farquhar.
Oui, very kind, mademoiselle. There is nothing left for us to do but to take our findings to Detective Inspector Hardwick.
Do you think he'll listen?
It is his duty as a high-ranking officer of the law. We shall not be ignored. We have done all but arrest Mademoiselle Court Smythe for him. If it is the accolade that he desires, he may have it.
I was thinking that while you were speaking with Miss Court Smythe, I could try and find Mr. Christensen at their home.
It would certainly be more efficient. An excellent idea.
Him with a funny accent. He was here earlier asking the same questions. All I want is a bit of peace.
I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
Monsieur Hastings, your assistance is required immediately.
Good Lord, Poirot, that's a lot of smoke.
And now you are up to speed with the situation. I have evaluated the position we find.
If you're going to use the fire extinguisher, now would be the time.
Très bien.
That's it. One more should do it.
Detective Inspector, it is imperative we search the crime scene as soon as possible.
You mean my crime scene?
If I may, I can count on one hand how many crime scenes I have seen in my life, and although they are somewhere I don't wish to spend too much time, as the representative of Lloyd's of London Bank, it is my responsibility to handle all matters regarding the now stolen painting.
A weak attempt, but I've got more on my plate than dealing with some paper pusher getting his knickers in a twist. You've got until I return to do whatever it is you need to do. And if I find one thing out of place...
You may question my authority in this case, but I will not have my professionalism questioned.
Whatever you say.
Ah. Mm-hmm. Aha. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh. Aha. Ah. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Huh. Huh. Ah. Oh. 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 Mm-hmm. Hmm. Aha. Huh. Huh. Hmm. Aha. Hmm. Oh. Ah.
From analyzing the victim's body, I can conclude that the cause of death was not dead by the flames.
Not by the flames? Then what?
That is what we are yet to determine.
Ah. Huh.
Monsieur Hastings, your assistance is required.
Of course. What do you need? What can I...
From analyzing the victim's body, I can conclude that the cause of death was not dead by the flames.
Not by the flames? Then what?
That is what we are yet to determine.
What can I do for you? Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Let us get back.
Order and method. Hot on the culprit's heels. I cannot see the logic in... The answer was staring me in the face.
What do you need? It wasn't an accident. It was set on purpose, using turpentine to douse any evidence of them being there, and the forgery.
An almost perfect execution, had we not arrived in time before the evidence had burned away.
But why try and get rid of the necklace?
Spoken like a true detective.
What can I do for you? That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Let us get back.
Aha.
Didn't you speak with her neighbor before? Might she be able to help?
Is it that copper again? What do you want?
I was hoping to ask you some questions regarding the fire. May I ask your name?
You aren't coming in. You can get that into your head now. Mrs. Colsham. Camilla Colsham.
Merci, Madame Colsham.
She hardly had any visitors, but yesterday it was like she had a sign up offering out free ale.
If you would be so kind as to talk us through the events as you remember them.
Well, I saw her leaving with a couple of paintings under her arm. You've seen her work? Not. Then there was that posh-looking chap. I heard him before I saw him. Like an elephant on those stairs. Next came the professional-looking fella. He's got some money in those pockets, that's for sure. I saw him leaving with a painting, too. Oh, and the argument with another man? I couldn't hear what it was all about, but he had a set of lungs on him.
You are doing a wonderful job, Madame Colsham.
You can keep the patronizing tone to yourself. She must have turned her radio up to disguise what they were saying, but I tell you this, I'd rather have listened to them than that racket. It wasn't long before he was storming down the stairs. I don't think he'd heard the expression light-footed before.
Would you be able to remember any other details of the gentleman?
Through this people, you can barely tell who's man and woman. I didn't hear her leave, but when I heard that door downstairs slam, I knew it was her. I opened my door and gave her what for. And you know what she did? She waved me off, bottle of bubbles in hand, ranting about being dry. She looked 2 sheets to the wind, if you ask me. Only after did she turn the radio down. I wasn't going to waste the peace and quiet, and I got ready for bed. I was getting right into the exciting bit of my book. Perkins' first one, you know. I do like Perkins. Well, that's when I first smelt the smoke coming from the hall. And then you lot showed up.
Merci, Madame. You have been most accommodating.
Oh, and I found this in the garden. It's obviously hers. I was going to put it through her letterbox, but, well, you know.
The cork from a champagne bottle. It would not be a giant leap to assume this came from Mademoiselle Courtsmith's apartment. A smell lingers on the cork. Bitter almonds.
Merci. Madame Colcham.
I should consider the... I must act on... I must take a different... Is there something I am not seeing? Voila. Where is the sense in... Something just... This will not get me any... What a revelation! Things are beginning to become clearer.
What do you need? Almonds? I've never had champagne that tasted of almonds.
One would hope not. Mademoiselle's lips may hold the missing clue we require.
Of course, the painting. Irene had made forgeries of the Penitent Magdalene painting and was likely selling them for a pretty penny, I might add. What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
Let us get back.
Come now. Think on... Come, my little Grace. The evidence suggests... Logical thinking shall always prevail. I should consider this further. Order and method.
What do you need? I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Take your time. Consider what we have seen and learnt of Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's time here yesterday.
Okay, firstly, we know that she had a number of visitors, and an argument with one of them. Among these visitors, one left with a painting. Perhaps another forgery.
Très bien.
Irene wasn't drinking alone, and whoever she was drinking with likely poisoned her. The killer used a syringe to inject a liquid form of the poison through the cork and into the bottle.
Potassium cyanide. Traces of the compound can be found in nature, but dangerous levels, such as those present, can be detected by its notable almond smell.
And she fell victim shortly after in her chair. What are you going to tell him?
The truth. He may hope for a simple and somewhat convenient version of events, but he cannot ignore the facts that we shall present.
My crime scene still intact?
Of course, Detective Inspector. There is something that...
There's nothing more to say.
Pardon, Detective Inspector. The truth is that Mademoiselle Irene Court-Smythe was murdered.
Right you are. I'll be sure to make a note.
But you won't.
Excuse me? Are you forgetting who you're talking to?
He is well aware of your authority and your capability of coming to the same conclusion. We only wish to inform you of our findings.
Well, my men have been in, as have I, and I've concluded that the mademoiselle, as you so elegantly called her, made off with the painting and decided to have a few drinks to celebrate. She passed out drunk in the chair, candle still lit, and the place went up like a match.
Detective Inspector, s'il vous plaît. It is really not that simple.
Who are you calling simple?
He's not calling you simple, he's saying that isn't how it happened. How can you ignore the bottle of champagne that had been tampered with? The smell of poison on the cork?
You're both experts in poison now, are you?
I do not wish to stand here and argue credentials. Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was killed, not by the fire that burnt through her home, but at the hands of another. Her drink, laced with potassium cyanide.
Quite the imagination you two have.
Look, we can show...
No. We shall leave the detective inspector to discover the truth for himself. Detective, adieu. Monsieur Hastings, you must learn which battles are worth the fight. Besides, we have no time to stand squabbling with him. We have a murder to solve.
That was quite a night. I feel exhilarated, yet exhausted. Triumphant at what we have discovered, but mournful for Miss Court Smythe.
It is being able to control those emotions and still see the bigger picture that separates the best detectives from those that merely like the thought of such responsibility.
So do you think it must have been one of the guests at the gala?
An accomplice disguised as a guest turned murderer. A master criminal they may appear to be, but they have never crossed paths with Belgium's greatest detective.
I think I just felt a chill.
Now we must speak with the guests of the gala again, as well as find Monsieur Christiansen, who has continued to evade my questions. Bonjour, madame. Do you have a moment to... Has something happened?
You bet something's happened! That slime bag! How dare he say my performance was mediocre!
I'm sure he didn't mean...
That's it! I give up. I'm done with this acting. With this sitting.
Take a deep breath. One man's opinion, and a wrong one at that, is not powerful enough to topple a career like yours.
You're right. Let him think what he wants. I'm sorry. I'm an actress. It's my prerogative to be a little overdramatic.
Very impressive, Monsieur Hastings. A position in negotiations would suit you well.
Is there something I can help you both with? You do know what I do, don't you? I was on stage, performing in front of a packed house.
I did not mean to.
Zach, he was there. You two seemed pretty friendly. He'll tell you. So will that Russian lady from the gala. She was with him.
Monsieur Demire and Mademoiselle Babagne. Together. Très bien.
Oh, he's already seen it. I told him he didn't have to come.
A supportive husband indeed.
Yeah, real supportive. Your guess is as good as mine.
It is most important that I speak with him.
Then you've got a missing painting and a missing husband on your hands because I haven't seen him. Look, I don't think I can take much more today.
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was found murdered last night.
Okay.
I thought perhaps the news would be a little more jarring.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't really want to hear about anyone dying, but me and her... Well, there's no love lost.
Madame Allen's nonchalant response has certainly caught me off guard.
You have been most helpful.
You're just full of questions, aren't you?
You have been... Monsieur Hastings, you're...
Of course. That sounds rather ominous.
I would not ask you to do something I would not consider doing myself. Only on this occasion, it is I that must execute the other part of the plan.
What do you need me to do?
Madame Hélène, you must hold her attention while I take the opportunity to look around.
I certainly can. I'll appeal to her love of attention. Mrs. Allen, that photograph there, is that really you on a live film set? What do you need? What?
Merci.
Ah.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
I was hoping to speak with Mademoiselle Farquhar.
I'm afraid she already has her hands full with the story. Unless you've come with a bigger one than what she's working on. Perhaps another time, gentlemen. We really are very busy. Perhaps another time. Perhaps another time, gentlemen. Let's not be so hasty. That could be just what we need.
Gentlemen, what can I do for you?
This is your office. It's very impressive.
Mademoiselle, would you have time to answer some questions?
I don't really have time right now. Perhaps we can schedule...
I assure you I shall remain focused and my questions relevant.
Fine. Make it fast. Is she all right?
I'm afraid not.
Heavens. How awful. Did she have any close relatives?
I do not believe so. And her parents have both passed also. She was the last remaining Court Smythe.
A question I did not expect. Although at least she is showing some form of compassion for Mademoiselle Court Smythe's family, or lack thereof.
I only met her recently in a professional capacity. What are they going to do with her exhibit?
I cannot say, but they may not be as forthcoming with her work now.
I'm sorry, Detective. I don't understand.
Mademoiselle Court Smythe was behind the painting's disappearance, and a forgery was discovered in her apartment.
So she stole the original and made a forgery? What heavens for?
That we are still yet to learn.
Am I a suspect?
We are just trying to gather all the information. Isn't that right, Poirot?
Oui, that is correct.
I'm sorry. It's just a lot to take in at once. I was working late into the evening yesterday. I had to get my article on the gala written. And the photographs, they had to be developed. There was probably someone still around in the office if you wanted to check. I'm sure you want to have every I dotted and T crossed.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Bartholomew! Here, puss, 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 puss. Where are you? Bartholomew! Enough now! Out you come! I'm sorry, I just don't have time to talk now. I have to find Bartholomew.
Have you placed a missing persons report?
Really, Detective? Bartholomew is the church cat. I think a missing persons report might be a little overboard.
I am sure with our assistance we shall find him in half the time. And then, perhaps you will have time to answer my questions.
Fine. All that matters now is that we find him. His name is Bartholomew, and I'd appreciate it if you spoke of him as such.
Pardon. When did you last see Bartholomew?
Better. Well, you see, the poor creature took an interest in my easel. He leapt up, knocking over some of my supplies, and gave himself a fright. He bolted out of sight, and I've not seen him since.
Merci, Your Grace.